I really dislike being known as the girl who was re-aged and lived in her own apartment at 7 years old. I don't like being known for the little girl that was helpless and was beat and starved and all that. I don't. Because that's not who I am. That's just what happened to me. It is definitely a blessing to be alive today. Because looking back at like my 7-year-old self, I should have been dead.
But people don't know what happened in that house. They tortured me. I was abused. Christine is the real monster.
Christine tried to overdose me and everything like that. And I don't see how somebody could survive that, especially with me being so small and being so reactive to medicine and stuff like that. To me, it's like surprising because I feel like I shouldn't have survived that. I'm thankful that I did, but I really feel like I shouldn't have.
I was 6 years old when they adopted me. But the Barnetts did a petition to change my age to 22 years old. I literally lost my childhood.
I definitely feel like I was brainwashed by the Barnetts. Christine coached me to say I'm 22 years old and I tried to murder my parents. Like, who says that? Like, why would you do that to your child? Like, because I remember like it being so repetitive, and for a while, I believed it. For a very long time, like while I was in the apartments that the Barnetts put me in, I believe, like it got to the point I kind of started believing it. Living in the apartment at a really, really young age, I just knew what I was told. I didn't really understand why I was being put in the apartment. I didn't understand why I was alone in the apartment. I just knew, like, I guess like I had this instinct in me to just push and survive, because all I was told was, you're 22 now. Whenever somebody asks you what your age is, you say you're 22, and just leave it at that.
Natalia, you still need to be on your wall.
I wish I understood, but all I understood was that she was my mother at the time. I really hate saying that. And that I just had to listen to her. She was the authority.
Are you sorry about what she did to me?
I'm overly sorry about what she did to you. I am sorry I wasn't stronger and didn't stop her.
The most he ever did was just be there and watch me get beat. That's how he hurt me, by being there, knowing it, and not taking me out of that situation, because he had just as much custody as Christine did, and he didn't do anything, all because he was a coward and didn't think that he would ever see his boys again. Well, what about your daughter? What about your so-called daughter that you claim you wanted? What about her? That just shows where your priorities lie. It's with your kids, but it's not with all your kids. And that's why Michael has never been a father to me.
I'm so sorry.
I forgive you.
I will say forgiving Michael was a little, like the tiniest grain of salt, easier to forgive than Christine. Only reason why is because he was like the accomplice, you could say. Christine was the main perpetrator. It took me some years to forgive, and it took me a little longer with Christine. I have not talked to Christine, nor will I ever, for as long as I live. Because, yes, I forgive her. But no, I never want anything to do with her. I can forgive, but I can never forget. The fact that I had so many people in my life that, were there and were supposed to protect me and supposed to defend me, the fact that they didn't, hurt a lot, especially the Barnetts. They might as well have gotten away with murder. There was no justice. That's how I'm gonna say it. There was none when there should have been. It was pure hell before I met the Mans.
The petition should be granted that the adult's name should be changed to Natalia Grace Renee Mans, and that the petitioners Antwon Corey Mans and Cynthia Mary Renee Mans from this day forward shall be known as her parents.
They've showed me what a dad and what a mom really is, and actually showing me love. I remember for I think maybe a year or two, I was still in survival mode for a while, and I remember my parents having to sit me down and be like, "You're not going anywhere." And no, I was not legally their child at the time, but I felt like their child, and they showed me what love is. And like I said, just because we have our problems or anything like that doesn't mean that they don't love me. I do believe they still love me a lot.
I kept telling her, you need to go before you get killed.
The Mans are a cult.
We need to get her out of there. Oh, there she is.
In December of last year, you had the DePauls rescue you in the wee hours in the morning at a church. What was going through your mind in that moment?
I was just really nervous. And I'm like at first, we pulled up and we just see headlights and I'm like, huh? And then, it was just headlights blaring, and I'm like, who could be in that car just blaring their headlights? And then I thought that they weren't there, so I went in, and we would always go to the bathroom before service started. And then I remember the last thing I told my sisters were, "I love you, and you guys go ahead." And then I saw them pull up, and Mac jumped out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's actually here. My heart started pounding. I was terrified. I was completely terrified. And then, once I got in the car, I was like, I need to text my mom. I need to let her know that I did not get kidnapped or I'm not dead, because I knew the moment she realized I was gone, those were going to be her thoughts. And so I just texted my mom and said, I'm okay. I'm sorry I am doing this like this, but I'm with the DePauls and I'm safe. She was so sad, and I could tell how genuinely sad she was. And yeah, I was 20, so the little birdie had to leave. But she literally told me, she's like, you were supposed to be my forever baby. And she's like, you're still my baby, but you were supposed to be with me forever. And I'm like, I gotta spread my wings. That was a very emotional time. And I do believe it could have been done better, thinking back on it now. There's actually been a few things that I've learned and that I've kind of grasped from just being with each family through the years. With the Barnetts, it's my love and protection of kids and compassion, and also the listening when something's wrong with someone and just being there, because I never had it. With the Mans, I learned about how to be a mother, how to, knowing how to be able to take care of myself, and my future kids, and even my husband one day. And I can thank my mother for that, and I can thank my dad for my persistence in studying and just all the, what some people say, the boring stuff, but it's actually really not, the learning and having that crave to want to do something. And then, being with the DePauls and learning that I am more capable than what I originally believed. I am capable of being able to drive a car, or because like I was told like I don't think you'll ever drive. But being with the DePauls, I've learned that I can do anything I put my mind to. I can have a car. I can, become a teacher. I can be able to do all these things and still know how to adapt to it and how to figure out the best ways. I got diagnosed with 2 types of anxiety. Situational anxiety and generalized anxiety disorder. Also PTSD, actually. And those all stem from just stuff that has gone through in my past. And it is definitely a hard thing to deal with, especially getting overwhelmed and everything like that. Like even today, like my anxiety is a little high. And I'm the type of person that hides it until I get too overwhelmed and it explodes. And I did that for a while, thinking I can just get over it. Like I could just deal with it on my own without getting some medicine or without getting a therapist again. And it got to the point it exploded and I had a big panic attack and I scared Nick and Vince. And they was like, look, we need to do some tough love talk. You need a therapist. Like, seriously. And I was like, yes, I do. So I called my doctor and she did put me on some medicine as well. It was working for my anxiety, but it was causing really bad, vivid nightmares. And I already suffered from nightmares. They weren't as consistent as they recently have been. So I got switched to another one, but that one's not really working. So it's like I'm going through a trial and error with medicine right now. And I am working on getting onto therapy. I'm on a waiting list for in-person sessions. So I'm trying. When I meet somebody and they want to get to know me and I want to get to know them, it's going to take a while for me to get close to you, to, feel like I can trust you. And like one of my biggest things is don't make a promise you can't keep. Because I've been promised things way too much in my life that have all been broken. And the only way I will accept a promise is when I see that you are committed to it, that you are going to prove to me that what you told me is true. I have to see it in order to believe it. And from there, I will, let my guard down a little bit. I still won't be that trusting. So it's just a learning process for both whoever I meet that wants to get to know me and I want to get to know them, or, vice versa. One thing I've realized is I may be little, but I have a lot of big dreams like any girl ever does. I'm a girl that loves kids, that wants to one day have kids of my own and, get married. I've even almost planned out my whole wedding. So whoever the guy is, I've already got it mostly planned. I love the little things. Like literally, you could get me a chocolate croissant and I will be happy. You could get me a book, I will be happy. Just getting a little manicure, I am happy. Like you do not have to get me expensive things. You do not have to get me anything extravagant. The biggest gift for me is just having someone there with me. It's just the little things for me. I have a lot of goals for my future. I'm already in school, working on getting my GED and, learning to drive and all that. I want to become a teacher for grades from kindergarten to second grade, like in between. And the reason why is because I love working with kids. I think I fully knew that I wanted to do it when I was working with my sister when she was being homeschooled. Both of my sisters, actually. And I loved it. Like, I really did. And then I want to be able to be a teacher, to be able to encourage those kids and know that in my classroom, you will always feel safe. You will always feel encouraged. You will always feel like you can do anything you put your mind to. There's no expectations. There's no, you're expected to do this or else. Like, just try your best. I personally actually don't like being filmed. I don't. I don't like all the extra camera attention and, being on a TV show. It feels kind of weird having people know my story and knowing who I am. Like, sometimes it kind of throws me off guard when somebody walks up to me like, hey, aren't you from a TV show? And I'm like, yeah. But it's also really like encouraging, and it is a really good feeling to hear some of the stories that people will message me about their lives and what they went through, and it feels so good to know that I actually like encouraged people and I inspired people.